The supermarket parking lot bustled with activity, shopping carts squeaking as people hurried through their routines. In an isolated corner, a homeless man sat on the ground, his back against a cold concrete pillar. His clothes were tattered, his face lined with exhaustion. Next to him, a dog with a mottled coat lay quietly, watching the world with a calm but attentive gaze. The man clutched a worn cardboard sign that read, "Help me and my best friend." Every now and then, he would reach out and stroke the dog's head, and the animal would respond with a small wag of its tail. Their bond was silent but profound. A few weeks earlier, the man had nearly given up. On one of the coldest nights he had ever faced, feverish and weak, he sat right there in that very spot, convinced he wouldn't survive until morning. Then, out of nowhere, the dog appeared. It didn't bark or beg. It simply curled up beside him, sharing warmth. That simple act had been enough. When the sun rose, the fever had broken, and a new determination had taken root in the man's heart. From that day on, the two were inseparable. He named the dog Lucky, for he believed the animal had saved his life. But today, something was about to happen that would shatter their fragile world. The sudden roar of a motorcycle cut through the air, turning heads. The bike screeched to a stop, its engine growling like a beast waiting to strike. A heavy tension fell over the parking lot as the rider dismounted. He was tall and broad, clad in a worn leather jacket and scuffed boots. His helmet came off, revealing a hardened face twisted into a cruel smirk. His cold eyes scanned the parking lot before settling on the homeless man and his dog. The biker strode toward them, each step slow and deliberate, his boots echoing against the pavement like a countdown. He seemed to enjoy the uneasy cause, the way people averted their gazes to avoid his notice. Stopping just a few feet away, he tilted his head, letting out a dry chuckle. "Well, look at what we have here," he sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. "A bomb in his mutt. Bet that dog's worth more than you." The man stiffened but kept his head down, his hands tightened around his sign. The dog, sensing the tension, let out a low growl, positioning itself protectively in front of its owner. The biker laughed. "What's the matter, dog? Gonna bite me? Gonna defend this piece of trash?" He leaned forward, pretending to examine the dog. "You're the only one who cares about him, aren't you?" "Please," the homeless man murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "Just leave us alone." "Leave you alone?" The biker grinned, stepping even closer. "You don't belong here. This is a parking lot, not a dump. People like you just get in the way." The dog's growl deepened. The biker's eyes narrowed. "Oh, look at this. It thinks it can scare me. Pathetic, just like its owner." Then, with no warning, he raised his foot, aiming a cool kick at the dog. "No!" the man cried, lunging to protect his only friend. Before the biker could make contact, a firm, commanding voice sliced through the air. "Enough!" A heavy silence fell. The biker turned, his sneer faltering for the first time. Stepping out from between the rows of parked cars was a man whose face was instantly recognizable. Dressed simply in dark jeans and a black T-shirt, with a lightweight leather jacket over his shoulders, Keanu Reeves walked toward them with measured steps. His expression was calm, but his presence was powerful. The crowd, which had been ignoring the scene moments ago, was now fully engaged. Whispers rippled through the air. Some people pulled out their phones, recording the moment. Keanu stopped just a few feet from the biker, his dark eyes locking onto the man's with unwavering intensity. "Do you think this is right?" he asked. The biker let out a short, harsh laugh. "Who the hell do you think you are?" His voice wavered slightly, betraying a flicker of uncertainty. Then recognition dawned, and his lips curled into a sneer. "Oh, I get it. Mr. Hollywood superstar thinks he can come and play hero? What a joke." Keanu didn't react. "This isn't about me. It's about you, about what you're doing to them." The biker scoffed. "They don't belong here. They're just taking up space." Keanu tilted his head slightly, observing the man. "And you think hurting them makes you stronger? Or does it just show everyone who you really are?" The biker's jaw clenched. He took a threatening step forward, trying to loom over Keanu. "I don't need a lecture from some actor. You might be a big name in movies, but out here, you're just another guy." Keanu remained unflinching. And you're just another man filled with anger. But your anger doesn't justify hurting others. The biker's grip tightened on something in his hand, a bottle he had picked up from the ground. He raised it slightly, his knuckles white. "You don't know anything about me," he shouted. "You think you're a hero, standing up for some bum in his mutt? You think that changes anything?" Keanu took a slow step forward, his voice dropping to a near whisper. "No, but maybe it changes this moment. Maybe it stops you from doing something you'll regret." The biker hesitated. For the first time, real doubt flickered in his eyes. Then a sharp whistle cut through the tension. Everyone turned. A security guard approached, his stance firm. "Hey, drop it. Now." The biker, surrounded by watchful eyes and recording phones, realized he was losing control. He looked back at Keanu, anger and shame warring in his expression. The dog let out a sharp bark, a small but fearless sound. The biker flinched. Keanu's voice was gentle but firm. "That dog has more courage than most. What about you?" The biker exhaled sharply, his shoulders slumping. He let the bottle slip from his fingers. "I'm just tired," he muttered, turning away. Moments later, his motorcycle roared to life, and he sped off into the night. Keanu knelt beside the homeless man and his dog. "Are you okay?" The man nodded, eyes shining with emotion. Keanu reached into his pocket and handed him a small card. "Take him here," he said. "They'll help him, and they can help you, too." Tears welled in the man's eyes as he clutched the card. "Thank you." Keanu smiled, gave the dog a gentle pat, then stood. As he walked away, a ripple of applause spread through the crowd. The homeless man hugged his dog, hope returning to his tired eyes. Sometimes, a small act of kindness, whether from a stranger or a four-legged friend, can change everything. And in that parking lot, on that day, a new story of resilience and compassion was written. Little did anyone know, this moment would inspire others. Social media would light up with footage of Keanu's actions, sparking a movement of kindness. Donations poured into local shelters. And somewhere, the biker, sitting alone, reflecting, wondered if maybe, just maybe, it wasn't too late for him to change, too.